It's Jeff again. I want to do a little video on drawing patterns and activating genes by drawing patterns, and talk about the tesseract, which is nobody actually knows what a tesseract looks like, but I looked it up all over the internet and I didn't find anything close to what the description of a tesseract is. So I just wanted to go through my interpretation of what a tesseract is, plus the patterns I drew, which helped me activate genes, I believe, which turned my brain on. That was crazy. So I started out by making these little patterns so that I could draw a three-dimensional box. And as I was thinking about drawing these boxes, I was just drawing patterns, different patterns, like the owl eyes that you see in the caves, and like the different dimensional views and stuff. So I started out by just drawing a three-dimensional cube, and then I started putting them together. I did this on a bunch of different pieces of paper, but I started putting boxes together to try and get something to click in my mind. And then I started using different colors, and I started putting them in different ways. I was angling them different ways and stuff. So this was like my first and second attempts at what I was visualizing in my mind. And then I drew a box and I tried to put cubes inside of it. I was trying to get my view of a tesseract. This is like my third or fourth try. And then this is still the same three-dimensional cube. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and one in the middle. I'm making some different cool little designs. And then I started this, if you look at it this way, this being the top, this being the bottom, it's kind of like a heart almost, but just a bunch of different colors of cubes making different patterns. And this was also activated when I was doing this, and then it came to me about a zero dimension is a dot, and you could say that that's like one per se. It's just one point of perspective. So then you do a line, two dots, and you have second dimension, or you have first dimension. And what I want to point out is the difference between 0 dimensions and 1 dimension is 10, you could say 10 points per se. So you have 90% more than this. So by adding 0 dimension to 1, you get 90% more. And then when you go to a square to 2 dimensions, you have the line, but then you have this other line. So right, you can have a line here, and now you can have 90% more. So all this is added 90% extra just by going to the next dimension. So then when you go to the third dimension, you're adding 90 more percent. So you have your same square, but then as a cube you have this extra z-axis. So that's 90% more space, or whatever you want to call it. So then a tesseract would be the next one, and it would be 90% more than a cube. So it's kind of hard to visualize, and I'm not saying that I did it, but I feel like I might activate someone else's genes by showing you my drawings. And so here I was tooting around again, just drawing my pattern, and I'd make dots, and I'd make a line, and I'd draw them across, and then I'd make a line here and here, and so I could draw a cube real fast with just like my little pattern here. And I just kept messing around, and I was getting all excited, and I made this, and excuse me. So here's a cube with a dot in the center, and then here's you could say a tesseract with a cube in the middle. But it's hard to imagine that this cube and this cube are going out, and this cube and this cube are going up, so they're all facing away from each other. But they say a tesseract is an 8-sided, is a cube with 8 cube sides. So a cube is 6 square sides, and a tesseract is 8 cube sides, which is kind of hard. This is like what I imagine the two-dimensional shadow of a tesseract would look like right here. And then this is like right here, this is the date on July 10th. I made my first sketch before I did any of this. This was kind of like my interpretation of what a tesseract would look like, which is hard to tell with one color. And then I drew this, thought it was kind of interesting. Just a different shape with cubes with 8 sides. Maybe that was a tesseract, I was just messing around. And then this is my interpretation of a tesseract now. So if you look at this cube, you can tell this blue is the inside, so you're looking at this from the top, right? And so it's like a cup facing up, you're just looking inside the cup. But if you look at this side, the blue is the inside still, and it looks like the cup's facing down. So this is the same exact sketch, but I colored it differently. So now when you're looking at it, you have to use your fourth dimensional mind to imagine that this cup is facing up and this cup is facing down. And so then when you look at this, imagine that this is the cube, and then poking in the corner, poking inside the cube just a little bit on the corner of the cube, is poking out, but it's going down that way. This cube's going down, and then this cube right here is going up, and the same with this. This one's going down, this one's going up. But you have to imagine that on the cube that I drew with the black line, the cube here, you can see the black line. You have to imagine that this corner pokes out this far, right? And this corner pokes out this far, and that corner on the other side pokes out that far, like that. And you have to imagine that on each of those cubes is another set of cubes poking out, which I just couldn't draw that, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. So somebody is going to see this, and they're going to realize that if this square poked out a little farther, and then there was another square on that poked out farther, and there's another square on that poked out, see what I'm saying? So I'm going to do another drawing on a big sheet of paper and try to make it on a big poster board and try to make it a little bit easier to follow. But this is my theory on a tesseract, and what if you're inside of there, if you're in the tesseract, then it would be getting smaller than you and it would be getting bigger than you, and every corner would have a cube side coming out, but it would be the corner, not the, it'd be like a cube side, but it would kind of seem like a corner. So I did that July 14th, and last week I started thinking about 11th dimensions and a rainbow, and how rainbows, you can only see the colors of a rainbow, but we know that that's just light and the sun is reflecting it. And so I was imagining, well, what if we could see all the colors in a rainbow? With this electric universe about to happen, it seems like, we might be looking at a rainbow and might be able to see all the actual colors more than just the visible colors that we can see right now. So I drew a circle, and then I tried to draw just like imagine if that was like maybe like a rainbow or something. I was thinking of a Stussy hat, and it has like all the Stussy things. So this was like my second attempt, and then this one came out pretty good. Oops. Yeah, I made an outline and I put it across like that, and then I sketched them all in different colors. So I can imagine that a rainbow might actually look like this, or just like instead of just being like an arc, it might be like an arc, and then it get bigger, and then it would look like maybe like that would be looking like what the 11th dimensions look like or something. But once again, this just come to me, and I felt like sharing it. I feel like maybe somebody gets activated by this, and also that I was inspired on the 11/11, which I thought was pretty cool. Just come to me on that day, so it felt more special. But I drew 11 numbers, and then I did, the 11 colors, and Anyways, that's it. That's my take on the Tesseract, and here's my take on the 11 dimensions. I know it's not right, but it's got to be close, maybe. So, anyways, hope you guys are having a nice day, and I hope you're visualizing greatness and not the person that hurt you last. Have a great night. Bye.